How is everybody? Hopefully you're hearing this and seeing this just fine. We are down in the cellar where the lighting is poor and the sound is poor, but we're giving another high quality tasting that we normally do in person, but this is a virtual version of our Thursday night tasting. And strangely enough, we like to do the tasting in the barrel room. We won't be doing it this Thursday in the barrel room because we have a private party down there.
We've got a nice private event booked, which would be great for the winery. And,
Yeah.
But again, we just got to switch things up sometimes. You know, it's funny that we're doing the
Yeah,
video
the
down
video's
here,
down there.
but
The tasting.
and you're
upstairs.
doing the tasting down here more often, but we don't like to do the video here because of the. But one of the reasons you like doing the tasting down here is because the acoustics are so great. But when you're doing it with a video, they
Yeah.
are not.
Well, when you're doing it with an iPad.
Yeah, well.
I'm sure if we had like a legitimate filming team or equipment, that it would be great.
Well, anybody want to sponsor us? You know.
Yeah,
we
and
need to step that up.
we are sponsored by Old North State
Old
Wine.
North State Winery.
Well, what do you think, Chef? You know what? The glare is a lot better down here.
That's true. You don't have to worry about the sun down here, do you?
So we're going to start off in Greece today. We're going to get off the beaten path. We got to think Greece, probably the most historic in history of winemaking. You know, we can probably thank the Greeks for all the wine, or at least a good portion of it. The
And the
influence they had.
Egyptians too, or they were beer, weren't
They were, they like
Well,
meat
fermentation,
and beer.
yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So this is from Yaya, and it's spelled G-A-I.
But the Y-I-A is how you spell Yaya in Greek as well. That means grandmother.
Oh yeah, cool.
So it's the Y instead of the G, but it's pronounced Yaya.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the most well-renowned, I would say, a household name in terms of producers out of Greece, and this is a Notios. It stands for Southerner in Greek, and since we're Southerners, Chef, I thought we would drink this
How
white
appropriate.
wine together.
How appropriate.
Muscafilero and Assyrtiko are two of the most notable grapes in Greece, and they just happen to be in this white blend. And I had this, I guess it was a couple weeks back, Chef, and with this August weather and all the lighter food that we're consuming right now, I think this wine is perfect for this time of year.
Couldn't be more perfect. Big citrus on this.
Mhm.
Yeah, tons of bright fruit.
Yeah, the florality here, absolutely gorgeous. There's the citrus you're talking about. It's so like orangey, tangerine, kumquat, like all of that kind of orange citrus.
It's all picking up.
It is beautiful. This also has
Honeysuckle.
oh yeah, honeysuckle. I like that. Roditas is another grape in here that adds a little bit more creamy body to it. So this isn't a lean wine by any means. It's got really a lot going on. That blend, it gives you brightness, it gives you those intense flavors, but it also gives you a nice mouthfeel. So this is where blending, I think, really highlights all three grapes.
Well, you can tell. Well, I guess there's a reason why they're a household name, because that is very well put together and structured.
Really explosive flavor here. I mean, you are going to get a lot of bang for your taste buds on this one, folks. Absolutely delicious. Again, we're looking at something that's under $20 that could pair with so many things. Think of all the things that you could pair with Sauvignon Blanc, and all the things you could pair with a Viognier, and all the things that you could pair with a Riesling. I think all of these all of this would be an appropriate pairing for this wine. And it's only 12% alcohol, so it's not like over the top, but it's so integrated. I wouldn't expect that you would really notice that you're drinking while you're drinking this, which can be a little bit on the dangerous side. But
and it's still like, this bottle's been out for a while, so it's really warmed up. So you're probably going to be drinking it at the height of its chill and its crispness. And even normally when wines get warmer, the alcohol is more prevalent. It seems like it to me anyway.
I agree.
And even with it, warmed up, it doesn't taste, I mean, you can't get any alcohol in this. It's just flavor.
And that honeysuckle is really banging. I'm glad you made a note of that because it really does describe the plurality in that one note that I think everybody's familiar with honeysuckle. You know, when you're describing wines, you know, you'll want to describe it in a way that most people, that your audience or who your conversations with, they can understand that they've experienced that smell or taste. And I think most people have had living in our area
In
for
this neck of
sure.
the woods, I mean, you know, in the early summer, I mean, the whole world smells like honeysuckle.
When I'm running down the Greenway here in town, and the honeysuckle's blooming. That's really nice.
When we ride the New River Trail, they used to have walls of it.
Yeah.
Of honeysuckle. You'll go through patches where, I mean, that's literally all you'll see. It's overwhelming. And
Yeah.
it'll be full of butterflies, and
Right.
that always reminds me of honeysuckle.
Got some peach in there too,
Little
Shelley.
peach, yeah, little peach. I could certainly see that, for
What,
sure.
what do you think you're gonna throw at that?
Well, I want to see what you think here. I've actually brought you some food, Chef.
Wow, now
Although
we're getting
you're
some-
out of wine, though, you're going to have to pour yourself on a sippy food so you can try it.
Will you join me?
Sure.
You're not against it, are you?
Well, I don't have surgery today, so we're good.
Wow.
Yeah, normally on operating days, I don't like to day drink, but
Dr.
yeah.
Wishart.
Today's
Dr. Wishart.
So I've got, so I made some verde out of local shishito peppers. Some garlic, cilantro, tons of lime. Topped it with smoked mussels. I think that's working with a bright white Greek style wine. So I've got extra lime in the verde. Tons of cilantro. I think the shishito gives it a good character beyond, you know, tomatillo. Gives it a little pepper, a little something a little on the top, so it's not so flat.
Boy, is that working.
And the smoke really helps balance it.
I love the smoke with that, absolutely. And this vine has enough weight to it
Yes.
to hold up to the umami
I
here.
was so happy, like when I tell you, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this
I think,
is now
that,
baby. If I would have going to switch it to shrimp
yeah.
if it were a thin wine, because I still think the verde should remain, but I think the
We'll
smoke
try,
or the weight,
we'll try it just with the verde and not the mussel.
because you know, if the wine were thinner, I think shrimp would have been the way to go. Or a little salmon belly or something. But I think we did that last week, so I don't want to double up.
So, without the mussel, it really it intensifies the pepper and almost kind of. I think the mussel is almost needed for this.
The smoke needs
For this
to
pairing.
tone it down. Because the verde is sharp and thin.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Right.
though I think the pepper gives it a little backbone that verde normally doesn't have, because normally verde, if you want to have backbone, you put heat on it. But all the ingredients are so thin and they die quickly. So the shishito helps a little, but the smoke really, you know, carries it over, so it's not a there and gone kind of flavor.
I love it.
Good.
I love
Good.
So now, are you going to share that with the people that are getting the to-go pack?
Absolutely.
Man.
That's our package there.
I
So
thought I was just.
we got the
gonna
blessing. We got the blessing for the smoked mussels instead of the shrimp. But the
Yum.
verde, I was feeling pretty good about when you gave me a. I didn't get to try this beforehand, but I did get a little heads up on what style it was going to be. And since I was making verde today anyway, we had a shishito delivery. And I was like, wow, that's Providence.
This makes me happy.
We love a good
And
pairing.
hopefully you out there that are enjoying this at home are also happy.
We love a good pairing. That's exciting. I love summer. Even though it's kind of getting old right now, you know, we're all ready for, I know I'm ready for fall, but I don't like to wish the seasons away either. I still
Yeah.
like some of the benefits of summer.
Oh, yeah. We still got at least a month.
Oh, yeah. It's still plenty green.
The that little hurricane or tropical storm Fred that came through last night, well, it's really been coming through for 2 days, just dumping rain all over the
Wind,
place. And then we
yeah.
had like tornadoes. They didn't touch down, but they there was was like.
Had some big wind though. I mean, when I was taking Lauren to school this morning, there were limbs, big limbs down everywhere. I was noticing in yards. And of course, the rivers are way over their crest, and so it's pretty wild.
Well,
But I like it. I've missed the rain. Thank you. I've missed these temperatures.
there's gonna be a lot of mowing involved, Chef.
That's okay. I mowed Sunday and I didn't want to. I got overheated. I got angry.
Yeah.
But I was glad I did because it would be a mess right now.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess I'll be, we're going to a family reunion on Sunday.
Oh,
For
boy.
Lisa's family, so I'll probably mow beforehand
That would be
while
smart.
she's at work. How are we looking there, folks? Can you see that? It's not like that little whale tail down at the bottom label. So, this is Alto de la Ballena. So this is a beautiful red and white blend, Ballena, from Uruguay. So Uruguay, if you don't know, is an emerging market. It has been. They're starting to export more and more. They've really gravitated towards the Tannat grape, the red grape that was, well, it's the first red blend that I ever did. And
I remember it well.
yeah, and that Blue Ridge blend I did 10 years ago, 12 years ago, was quite a popular thing. Tannat grows in our neck of the woods here in Yadkin and a little bit in the Blue Ridge AVA, just north of us in Virginia. And there's a small amount of it in California, and mostly it is a French varietal, but Uruguay is now probably the leader in Tannat production. They have decided that that's going to be their grape, much like Argentina decided Malbec was going to be theirs. And so this happens where a grape will find a new home, so to speak. And so Uruguay is doing even, well, they have French varietals here. This is Tannat and Viognier. And they're kind of doing a northern Rhone, like roti style, by blending 15% Viognier into the 85% of the Tannat. And Tannat is a tannic, rich grape. And much like they do in roti with Syrah and Viognier, the Viognier acts as a lift, an aromatic lift, a lightening of the heavy red of Syrah. And here the same will be the case for the Tannat. Now this is a reserva level, and I don't know if that's a real, if there's a real standard to that in terms of Uruguay wine laws, but it certainly means something to them at that winery because they have designated that to show you that they feel a little more, this is a better wine than their others, I guess. And this is
not certainly elevated from their entry level.
Right, yeah. And so here you have a 2015, so this is 6 years in the making. So we have quite a bit of time in the bottle. And there's a beautiful vegetality on this nose. I absolutely love it. I tasted this for the first time a couple months ago, and I've been kind of ruminating on it a little bit. I was thinking about using it at the chef's table. Chef has not made that magical dish where I got to play with it yet. But I figured, you know what? Let's show our people Uruguay. And strangely enough, I was in a 10K this past weekend downtown, and I was running with my running partner Tommy Branch, and we run with the American flag on Saturdays traditionally. And since we're doing this 10K, we decided to run with our flags. And one of the kitchen staff didn't really know that was our tradition. And when I told him I was going to run with the flag, he said, "What flag? Uruguay?" And just trying to be funny. And I was like, you know what? That reminds me. I've got that Uruguay wine.
We got to get that out and dust that off.
Yeah, because I think that was my cue to bring it on out. So, well, Chef, what's your initial on this?
Well, it's got a beautiful bouquet. Love how it sits in the mouth. I mean, the Viognier has really toned those tannins down.
Yeah.
Or rounded them.
Rounded, yes.
Because they're there. And of
Wow.
course, nothing I love more than tannins.
Right.
So I love tannins. I love this wine. I do love the vegetality of this. It's like
That reminds me of an Italian red a little bit.
very, very,
Because
very
they,
much
a
so.
lot of times I get root vegetables from their wines.
But this is very green. It's like almost like a green coffee before it's roasted, or asparagus stalk.
Sure.
Like if you're grilling it, you can just,
Yeah.
even if you don't eat it, you can just smell that asparagus. This is just fabulous. It's got a long finish, you know, but it's not overwhelming.
It's silky smooth.
Silky, very.
But
silky.
that tannin sits right in the middle of your tongue, and it just makes it this perfect amount of dryness. Like you said, it's almost like it is like a green dryness though. It is a very green, red green wood.
Green underripe, yes, like a
Sapling kind of thing.
sapling kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
if you're trying to get kindling for your fire, and you come across something that's not ready, and you pull on it, and it kind of sticks to the tree, but it opens all that aromatics there. It's very
It's
much like
really a pretty wine, and I think it goes to show that Uruguay is producing wines that you should be aware of. We should be drinking their wines, and you know our goal here is, you know, every time we get in front of you guys, if it's here in person on a Thursday night, or if it's at the chef's table on a Friday or Saturday, or right here virtually, we just want to introduce you to as many wines as possible, because there are literally thousands out there. And yes, we do make our own wines here, but we make about 14 wines. And, you know,
We'll run out of those.
we can run out of those pretty quick. We want to showcase the world of wines here and make everyone more knowledgeable to make a decision on their wine drinking day after day. So I think this is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and we learned so many. When was the last time we had a Uruguayan wine? I mean, how exciting! And I just didn't realize that, you know, I wouldn't be exporting it either. I would want to keep
I know,
it
right?
for myself.
They've got to be proud of this.
They have to be, and then that may lead into why, because I mean, I'm sure they've been making wine a long time, but boy, what a triumph this is for a country not associated with premier winemaking, and to have something this refined.
So we've already seen the the reputation of Argentina is through the roof. You know, Chef Chris and I have had some very expensive Argentinian wines.
Worth every penny, or value at that price
And
point.
there's still a value at that price point. And then you have Chilean wines, which are just phenomenal. And Chile is such a long, thin coastal country. There's so much variance from top to bottom of the different things they can offer because of the huge change in climate going south to north, or north to south, however you want to look at it. And so we have two great winemaking regions, and we've also dabbled. We've had the fun of dabbling in some Brazilian wines recently.
Yeah.
And
one of those was your mystery wine not long
That's
ago.
right. Yeah, we did a mystery wine from Brazil, and that was probably not fair to the
It was not.
folks
It was not.
that would never guess Brazil.
We'd still be sitting here guessing.
Right. Brazil, mind you, is a huge country, but the winemaking region is very, very small. But Uruguay seems to be, there's an opportunity here, I would think, for that country to really have a pretty big footprint in South American wine production. So kudos to them for how far they've come so quickly, and I really look forward to seeing what's going to be in the future. Very affordable wines. You know, this is their reserve level at under $30 a bottle. And I'm telling you, if you pour
value.
this in front of anyone
It's a value.
at your dinner table, and they would be very pleased with the texture, the flavors, the life, the energy in it. You know, it just does not drink like a 6-year-old wine.
No, and you know, it has the added benefit. So not only is this an impressive wine to serve, what great stories.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the story of Uruguay, you've got the Cote Rôtie style.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just endless amount of talking points on this that would be fascinating to your wine friends. I mean, it's not every day you run across this set of complexities and uniqueness in a bottle, and with the pedigree to match.
Sure, and you're talking about what just keeps blowing my mind is every time I put it to my lips, this is drinking, the fruit is so intense. It's like
Red.
a California red.
Yeah.
It is so juicy on the palate, right when it hits. It is fresh fruit.
But it's extracted.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of times when you get a big fruit, it feels muddled instead of extracted, if that makes sense. I mean, this is a very extracted fruit to me that, you know, not reduced sweetness, but like pressed out when you just drink the juice, not
Yeah.
crush the fruit in your mouth. if
Right.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just delicious.
Mm.
It's absolutely delicious.
Well,
How would you know you're already out?
I'm sorry. This one's way too good in our hammer. So,
Thank you.
Chip, what do you got in mind? I forgot to tell you about this alcohol.
You did. Actually, what
14%.
Actually, you mentioned.
14%.
Oh, no, it was the other one you mentioned.
Yep. All right.
All right, so I've got a risotto
Ooh.
of rosemary ham, borrowed land farm mushrooms, and that shaved Bear Wallow cheese from Looking Glass Creamery. It's their Alpine style aged cheese.
What kind of mushrooms?
It was a blend from borrowed land, mostly oyster and lion's mane. There's a little bit of chinchou in there. But they're roasted before. I roasted them ahead of time and then just tossed them in there at the end. But I like the herb. I like the rosemary because that plays off the green in this wine. And I love that cheese. I love that Bear Wallow. I mean, it's the Bear Wallow I've discovered. I haven't been serving it like as a sliced cheese. I've been grating it and using it in pastas and risottos and sauces, and I think that's what really shines. It's like a Alpine style, almost like a Gruyere, but a little sharper. I love the complexity of that.
It almost gives you, probably like a hint of gaminess.
Yes,
And-
yes, absolutely.
Which is yet another layer of complexity. The mushrooms really pop with this one.
Yeah, this loves earth because again, we're talking about the vegetality of this. Well, what could be more earthy than mushrooms? And I mean, so it's.
It almost makes the wine more aromatic on the
I
palate.
can see that.
Like in my palate, it almost seems more explosive on the aromatics. Absolutely great pairing, Chef.
Well, I like all three things. I like the rosemary and the fat from the ham. You know, of course, I love the mushrooms with it. But and then that cheese, I think it's. I really want to start using more cheeses integrated in our cooking, rather than just here's a cheese tray. You know, and I'm trying to find. I've been trying to order some different style of cheeses for just that reason.
Right.
Because I think, not that they're wasted. I mean, who doesn't love a charcuterie board? I mean, especially ours. I mean, they're beautiful.
Oh, they're very educational.
They are educational, but I also want to take it a step further. I want to use more of these high-end cheeses integrated into our food instead of their standalone cheesiness, if that makes sense.
And I think, on my initial assessment of this wine, it reminded me on the nose of there's so many great Italian reds that I've had. Here you have an Italian risotto, and it's working.
It's working.
Big time. Yeah, that's beautiful, Chef.
That's great.
Pork and mushrooms and risotto.
I'm telling you. And this beautiful, elegant wine, and still getting some of the, your palate's still happy from that smoky muscle too when you make the transition into this red. It's just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun.
Wow.
But in risottos, can be time consuming at home. But kind of like putting this one together is we have again, roast the mushrooms ahead of time and olive oil and sea salt. Got some beautiful new salts in this week. Got some smoked sea salt. Got some smoked and some sea salt banner butter out of Georgia. But having the ham, diced and ready to go and seasoned, having the mushrooms roasted off, the cheese already ready to go. I mean, so it's really just a quick sear and fold with our stock, rather than having to start the whole process. If you blanch your arborio off ahead of time, it's a little cooking tip at home, then you can just bring it together very quickly if you have your stock already made.
Yeah, and that's a great way to do things, just to cut about 90% of that.
Absolutely, and it will help you with your timing too. It's always hard if you're having friends over, or or you're getting home from work or whatever, your time is limited. You just start.
And risotto's a commitment.
It is a commitment. You can't walk away from it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things you can put in the oven or put on the stove, you go about your business or your chores. Not with that. So it is worth putting the time in, getting your risotto 90% there early, chilling it down, throw it in the fridge. Then all you have to do is your ingredients and fold it in with stock at the end. Great way to do it. And, you feel confident it's going to be right because you've done the work ahead of time and you can just know I only need 10 minutes to pull dinner off now.
Yeah,
That's great.
exactly.
Spend more time visiting, drinking this beautiful wine.
That's right. And, well, Chef, I think we've, I think every week that you do this from now on, food samples.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
gonna happen.
definitely the way to go.
Well, I want to do it all the time, and
I know.
you rarely have my act together, but for some reason I did today. I do want to do more of this.
Well, we squeeze these videos in literally.
Yeah,
So
literally.
today was one of the few days we could you actually had time, so.
Well, we had a good lunch today, but it wasn't a lot of things that I normally participate in, so I was able to do a lot of prep during lunch today. I cut all that beautiful fish and produced a lot of vegetables and just had a lot of production time, crisp time. And so that really helped prep the pork belly for the weekend. That's got the dry rubs going overnight. So I was just able to get some things done today, which is great. And it's the result of that. This feels good.
Thank you so much for sharing. And, well, I guess we should pack this one up. Me and Tyler, the winemaker, are headed out to the vineyards to inspect the grapes. It's that time of year where we're starting to count down the days to harvest. So we're going to go out and assess how close we are. I guess, last night was kind of an eye-opener for us. One of the many problems of North Carolina wine growing is that the worst possible storms of the year always show up right around harvest. And last year we had to pick things incredibly early due to the double hurricane that they were forecasting, which really wasn't. But
It fizzled a little bit, but you can't be too. You can't be reckless.
you can't risk all that investment going to waste. So
So
this
if the
when
frost
Fred-
doesn't get you, the hurricane.
Right, exactly. We've had a lot of people lose a lot of wine this spring. The frost, it wasn't just France; it was also a lot of North Carolina.
Lots.
But we're talking to many of the farmers. Actually, Tyler and I were down talking with the winemaker at Childress, and he's got a lot of contract and remote vineyards that he draws from. He's thinking that this is going to be a good year for all of North Carolina, and we're hoping that that's the case. We're going to assess our grapes today, and then we'll know a little bit better of when to pick. It could be a couple weeks. Who knows?
The grapes will tell you.
That's right. It's an exciting time for sure, but we just got a bunch of rain the last couple of days, so we got to wait a little while for that to kind of recede somewhat.
So we had 6 weeks of no rain, and then we had a month's worth in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Pretty soggy out there.
Yeah.
But, well, I guess I better vamoose. And, Chef, I always enjoy drinking these wines,
It's a
getting
pleasure.
your reflection on them. And boy, you really hit it out of the park with this food.
Well, this is what we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
This is what we do.
And just mad props for last weekend because those chef's tables were insanely
Those were great.
I mean,
They went very
we
well.
had what, 16,
20.
18, 20 people.
It was 12 Friday and 8 Saturday.
So, and they were all very pleased.
They did seem pleased, and I was happy with the way you and I pulled it off. We had beautiful wines, beautiful food, gorgeous seafood as always. Speaking of which, well, you probably already seen it by now, but Family Meals Seafood Market starts tomorrow.
Starts Thursday.
Well, yeah.
So
Like I said, well, you'll already seen it you'll see the post by then, but
we're gonna on social media. We're preparing for more take-home stuff now that school's back in. Trying to
back to reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working the grind and not having as much time to cook, but you leave that up to us. We're a beautiful amberjack. We've got gorgeous snapper in, steelhead salmon, beautiful old salt oysters from Virginia. North Carolina's shut down right now because of all the rains and the storms, so there's no oyster harvesting going on in North Carolina right now. Maybe by the weekend. if things settle down. But we did get some oysters out of Virginia before it all came through. So we're gonna have those offered for you, plus our prepared meals. We have some jambalaya, fried chicken,
Yeah,
soy glazed salmon,
yeah,
beautiful stuff.
all the delicious stuff that you've grown to love. Yeah, we took the summer off from family meals because there's so much traveling going on, and now people are getting settled back into
Yeah.
our little town and looking for something consistent to have. Yeah, what a great way to break up your week. Even if you just get one meal
Well,
a
I mean,
week.
it's just that, or if you just pick up some fish to take home and throw on the grill.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just, you know, not to say, I mean, I'm not talking smack about anybody, but, you know, you're not going to find spearfished Carolina amberjack at the fish section at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's a good
And-
point.
and
I'm
there-
pretty
and
sure
there's
Food
nothing
Line
wrong-
doesn't have that.
Nothing wrong with supporting what they do, but
Mhm.
you're not helping out a regional fisherman buying something frozen from China.
Yeah, it goes deeper than just our restaurant here. It's the network in which we support as well. And just keep in mind that we support a lot of small farmers, a lot
Lots.
of fishermen, a lot of
Creameries,
farmers, a lot of
artisans,
creameries.
you name it.
Yep. And apparently now we support Uruguayan
Uruguayan
wines.
Premier winemaker.
So, anyway, kids, we're gonna sign off. Look for all those menus and the fresh seafood.
They're going to
what's
stay,
available.
and they're here to stay through Christmas. So,
Yep.
you know, you miss it this week, we got you next week. They're going to have seafood market, family meals, all the way through the holidays.
Hey, everybody out there, have a rocking good weekend.
Thank y'all. Take care.